What's good, YouTube? We back on the grind, man. Welcome back to the channel. It's your boy, back on another banger, y'all. We're back to react to 7 bold predictions for the 2021 NBA season. Best hoop video by Hoop Reference. Video by Hoop Reference, y'all. Let's get into it, man. Okay.
The next NBA season is right around the corner, and if we've learned anything from the past, it's that NBA season.
Started off with this dude getting turned around.
The next NBA season is right around the corner, and if we've learned anything from the past, it's that every year there are a ton of things that happen that the majority of basketball fans just don't see coming, so we should come to expect the unexpected. For the topic of today's video, I'll be making 7 predictions that I believe are pretty bold, meaning that a lot of people very well might not agree with them, and the likelihood of them happening isn't even that high, but they're things that I do believe could happen this year regardless. A lot of them might not actually happen, but that's what makes it a bold prediction, because the unlikeliness of it happening is what makes it fun to predict, and if it does happen, then you look like a genius. Before we get started though, it turns out about 68% of you watching right now aren't even subscribed to the channel, so please, if you enjoy the content, consider hitting the subscribe button, as not only does it help out a ton, but I would also very much appreciate it. Now with that being said, let's begin. The first bold prediction I'll be making today is about the New York Knicks, and it's that I see them finishing as the very worst team in the NBA.
What's bold about this?
In the standings. It's no secret how poorly
They're just the odd man out. Who else is going to be the worst team? I can't see a team being worse than them.
The Knicks' recent stretch of play has been over the last few years, as they've finished in the lottery for 7 seasons in a row, and in that time they've accumulated several seemingly promising young players that they've drafted, but despite going into every offseason with money to spend and big hopes, they have once again struggled.
They just didn't
Out, bringing in only a few moderately good rotation pieces here and there, and they really haven't improved all that much from a season ago. The spacing that the Knicks lineups will have is going to suffocate them, with so many poor shooters taking the floor at once, like guys like Elfrid Payton and Julius Randle in big roles, which will then make things even tougher for the young guys like RJ Barrett to develop. I'm still not high on Kevin Knox as a player coming through the ranks either, and all in all, this roster has a lot of mediocrity throughout.
I don't know. I don't watch any Knicks games. I don't know what's wrong with him. I don't know what he has to improve on or whatever. But
which, with a bunch of pieces that don't fit together either, will, I believe, result in them finishing at the bottom of the standings. The next bold prediction we'll be making is about the James Harden saga in Houston, and I actually believe that Harden will not end up getting traded. He'll return to the team to play alongside the team's new additions of John Wall, DeMarcus Cousins, and Christian Wood, and when he does that, the Rockets will finish as a top 4 seed in the Western Conference standings. There have been so many storylines coming out about this situation, and right now it definitely does still seem like Harden wants out, but the Rockets have remained adamant that they're not going to accept a trade for him for cheap, and none of the suitors that seem interested in trading for Harden have given any reasonable offers for him. Because of how many teams are lowballing the Rockets in trade offers, I don't see him getting traded anytime soon. Through a few preseason games so far, John Wall has looked very impressive, and DeMarcus Cousins also seems to be back playing at a high level, so if you were to add Harden back into the mix, the Rockets...
When I was watching, I almost shed a tear, bro. I think I said this in one of the other videos, bro. I almost shed a tear, bro. Not just playing a bit. But seeing John Wall back healthy, man, it made me so happy, bro.
Are still a very good team, and playing with this group for a few weeks or months could change Harden's mind about staying if he sees that they're capable of being a legit threat. The next bold prediction we'll be making is about the Denver Nuggets, and it's that while most people expect the team to continue trending upward after their incredible conference finals run last season, I actually see them taking a step backwards this year. The Nuggets' playoff run last year, behind tremendous play from Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray, is absolutely something positive to build on for this year, but what has gotten slept on is the fact that they lost some of their key depth on the wings that played a part in their success. Jeremy Grant has emerged as one of the best glue guys a rotation could possibly have as a two-way player that plays amazingly versatile defense and plays within himself on offense, and then Torrey Craig was another productive wing player for them from the bench that left in free agency as well. In addition to this, they really didn't replace either of them, so now they're relying heavily on Michael Porter Jr. to step into a bigger role, and while he'll probably be able to handle this bigger role offensively, his defense is far worse than Grant and Craig, and that could spell his defense, and while he'll probably be heavily on Michael Porter Jr. to step into a bigger role, and while he'll probably be able to handle this bigger role offensively, his defense is far worse than Grant and Craig, and that could spell some trouble. The Nuggets' offense is going to be good regardless because Jokic and Murray are one of the best offensive duos in the league, but their success as a team was built on their defense, and Porter Jr. was one of the worst defenders in the league last year. They'll still be a good playoff team, but I don't think they are as good as they were a season ago. The next bold prediction we'll be making is regarding the Philadelphia 76ers, and it's that Seth Curry will have a career year with them scoring this season. Seth Curry has often been overshadowed throughout his career as a player because of the fact that his brother is Steph Curry, but Seth has proven to be one of the best shooters in the league as well, and as a secondary playmaker has been a valuable piece for some very good Mavericks and Trailblazers teams over the last few years. He's a very good role player.
That's kind of random. Like, why
to have, but his career high at this point in his career is 12.8 points per game, and this year I easily see him averaging about 15 per game. My reasoning for this is that a few years ago we saw JJ Redick come into the Sixers as a sharpshooter who had previously been a good role player, but then when he played alongside Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons, he had the best scoring seasons of his career at the ages of 33 and 34 years old, because the two-man play between him and Embiid was one of the best combos in the league, and Ben Simmons' elite playmaking ability, especially for perimeter shooters, creates a ton of open looks. Curry is 30 years old right now, and he's going to be playing the same kind of role that Redick had when he was brought into the team and what brought the best out of him. So I think he's in for the best year of his career in this system. Speaking of the Sixers and Ben Simmons though, the next bold prediction is that I believe Ben Simmons will attempt at least 50 three-pointers this year. Every season, people obsess over Simmons' shooting and whether or not he's going to extend his range, and last year we saw a few glimpses of him doing so. He took a few attempts from beyond the arc, he made a few of those shots, and as he continues to work on his shot behind the scenes, he seems to be getting more and more comfortable with it. With a new coach in Philly, Doc Rivers has said countless times that he's not going to force Ben to play outside of his game, but at the same time, he and the rest of the team have emphasized the fact that with new people in charge, accountability is one of the most important things from top to bottom, and Ben will be held accountable for passing up open looks if it happens. 50 attempts isn't even an average of 1 attempt per game either, but it's a start. There will be games still where he doesn't take any, and there might even be some games where he takes a few, but at the very least, I expect...
I don't want Ben Simmons to be taking threes. I don't. I just want him to be able to shoot them, so Embiid can post up and whatever. I want him to be respectable behind the arc, so people have to guard him. But I don't want him to just be pulling up threes and stuff like that. That takes away from the excitement of his game. Like, just driving to the basket, dunking. Like, that's what I want him to keep doing, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why I like him. I don't want him to just be sitting here shooting threes and, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's not really Ben Simmons. You know what I'm saying? That takes away from him.
him to attempt them when he has the opportunity to without forcing things. The next bold prediction is about Darius Garland of the Cleveland Cavaliers, and it's that I predict he will average over 20 points per game this season. Garland is a top 5 pick from the 2019 draft class and has seemingly gotten forgotten about because of the fact that he's playing in Cleveland, where they barely get any coverage. But I'm still very high on him and his potential. Garland had a pretty inconsistent rookie season, but that's normal for rookie guards throughout history. And now going into year 2, I've been hearing nothing but good things about him and his development. Teammate Larry Nance Jr. said that
he shoots like 12% from the field, like he can just get 20 a game because no one else like matters on the team except Isaac Okoro and Kevin Porter Jr. and Colin Sexton. That's it. You can get your 20. Those guys get their little 10, 15, and then it'll be good. Drummond ain't gonna need that many shots. Kevin Love ain't gonna need that many shots. Tristan Thompson, Larry Nance, those guys, whatever.
Garland was playing like the team's best player in training camp. He's been working hard all throughout the offseason, in which the Cavs haven't played a game since March, and with this much confidence coming from him, I think he'll show why he was taken in the top 5 last year. And finally, the last bold prediction we'll be making today is about the Washington Wizards, and it's that I still don't believe they will be a playoff team this year.
This is a bold prediction. I think they'll make it because the East is but booty hole juice right now, and I think they can make it. I also want them to make it because if they don't, then Russell Westbrook is just ahead and get slandered so hard, and I don't want to see anyone.
Despite the addition of Russell Westbrook. With everything in Houston seeming to be up in the air, people over with the Wizards seem to be over the moon with Russ in town, and they absolutely should be. But while most see them confidently as a playoff team, I'm a bit more hesitant. The problem is that most of the playoff teams from the East either got better or are just as good, with really only the Orlando Magic as contenders to drop out, leaving only one playoff spot up for grabs. That last spot will be fought for by the Magic still, the Wizards, the Atlanta Hawks, and even the Charlotte Hornets, and right now I seem to favor the Atlanta Hawks to get it. The Wizards were the second worst defense in the league last season, and the addition of Russell Westbrook isn't really something that solidifies that, and while the Hawks were only one spot higher than the Wizards defensively in those rankings.
This is who I think is going to make the playoffs, Bucks, Celtics, Raptors, Hornets. No, not Hornets. Hawks, Wizards, Heat. Forgot about the Heat. Who else? Bulls and Wizards, right? I mean, that's who I think. I think the Bulls can make it. I don't think the Pacers are going to make it. And I don't think the Magic are going to make it.
They actually addressed those issues in different ways this summer. The Hawks brought in several veterans, such as Rajon Rondo and Danilo Gallinari. Clint Capella is back healthy, and he's proven to be a very strong rim-protecting big man on defense. They drafted Onyeka Okongwu, who very well might prove to be the best defensive player in this year's draft, and they also signed Chris Dunn, who is one of the best perimeter defenders in the league. Both the Hawks and the Wizards have a ton of firepower offensively, but I think that last playoff spot will go to the team that plays better defense, and the Hawks have more experienced guys who can contribute on that end. And with that being,
and that's gonna do it for this video, man. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to smash the like button, just subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Or you don't have to, actually. You don't have to subscribe if you don't want to, but please do. I would appreciate it. I'll see y'all in the next video, though. Peace out.